Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Harmony One. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now, also, I have two donation links down below in the description. If you want to support Ukraine, you can do so by going over to the official websites linked down below. Now, jumping into the technical analysis on the daily chart here for Harmony One, as you can see, we do have all the patterns and all the trend lines from the last update. So like I said, if you haven't seen that, watch that so you're aware of what's going on here. And if I start zooming in, you can see that we're landing right back on top of the yellow support trend line that we have over here. And we've been landing on this support trend line ever since the end of July. So you had a touch over there, you had another touch in August, another touch in September, another touch at the end of September, and multiple touches here in October. And right now it looks like you're about to retest it. And if we start losing it, that's going to be quite a bearish sound, or signal, I should say, not a sound, in my opinion, because you're going to be losing a multi-month support trend line. Now, when that happens, that typically means you're going to have more targets to the downside. So if I pull out a fib retracement over here to show you what are our possible targets, so we're going to take this swing high that we had here September 27th, and we're going to take the swing low on September 21st. So as you can see, this will allow us to get the 1.618 target, and we've almost reached that target. So we have it here at 0.01585. So that is our potential target if we start losing this low here. And that's exactly what we have started doing, right? You lost this low and you're coming back lower and you're coming back down. And this doesn't look good for Harmony right now because you're getting rejected from the 20 EMA once again. And that's very typical for a downtrend in a bear market. Usually the EMAs are going to be acting as resistance levels. So you also have a major support level here that I do want to show you. So the white trend line here, as you can see, is a major support level that we have retested before. Okay, we have retested it here in July of this year once we had the capitulation. So essentially what you're doing right now is you're coming back down to where you started retracing from. And if you start losing the July low, that's going to be very, very negative, because at that point you're going to have a 1.618 target all the way down here to 0.01, basically 1 cent. So that's going to be your technical target. But so as soon as you start losing this low over here, you're going to be targeting the 1.618 right over here, right? And we're very, very close to this low. So this is a key support level. And as I always say, if you start losing key support levels, you're going to have more targets to the downside, because if you break resistance, right, then you have targets to the upside because you're bullish, you're breaking resistance. This is the exact opposite of that. So in this case, I would be dollar cost averaging to Harmony One if I was looking to buy the project or to buy the coins and I was bullish on the project. Then I would definitely dollar cost average in these areas here, because essentially this is as low as you've been this year, because you've been only this low in July, right? But if you start coming back down lower and you get to the 1.618 target right here at the 0.013, which is a different 1.618 target if you've noticed, because this one is off of the larger fib that we have at play. So if I start zooming out here, you can see that we do have a Fibonacci retracement here that's set up with the swing high in January and the swing low all the way back in June of last year. And we're way past the low in June, right? Some projects are above this June here of 2021, but as you can see, Harmony went down pretty hard. So we're hoping that we can hold the 1.618 here of this Fibonacci retracement, and that's at 0.01309. Now, if we don't, right, you always have the next 1.618 from the smaller fib. That should hold us as support. Switching over to the daily RSI, let's see what's going on over here. Okay, as you can see, you went back into this buy zone that I gave you, anywhere from 36.4 to 32 or 32 point, 0.3 on the RSI, and as you can see, you had a bounce from that area. You had to move to the upside, and right now you're coming back down into that area. So I would be on the lookout for a potential capitulation for crypto at the beginning of November, because we have another FOMC meeting happening very soon. I think November 2nd or 3rd. And I think we're going to get another 75 basis points interest rate hike. And that's obviously going to be negative, and markets are going to react negatively to that. So I would assume that we may have a very strong possibility of retesting this buy zone here below the index of 30. So in the oversold, you had multiple touches throughout this year. Before July, you had 4 touches in total, and potentially you could come back down here sometime in November, December, January. Okay, so that's what I would be targeting. Now let's switch over to the Binance website. Okay, switching over to the weekly chart. As you can see right now, we do have a support level here below 0.01690, and this is the high that we retested in August, or that we created in August. Then you went all the way back down to this teal support trend line that we have, and then from there you broke above that resistance that we created here in August, and then you came back down for a retest all the way here in June of 2022. And after that, you had another rejection from an upper resistance level. And now you're coming back down to that same buy zone. So what I'm trying to say here is that this is a very important buy zone for us to hold. And if we don't do that, then things could get ugly for Harmony One, and we could potentially be targeting half a cent, right? But that's still far away from the reality here. And at that point, I do think Bitcoin would have been below $12,000, and I don't really think that's going to happen. But then again, anything can happen in crypto, so I wouldn't be sure of anything. So anywhere from 0.01690 to 0.01374, that's a very, very strong support level, and I would be dollar cost averaging into Harmony One at these prices. Now, what you can also see is that you retested this teal trend line as resistance. So you have multiple bounces as support over here. So this is one touch in April of 2020, another touch here in January of 2021, and the next time you were close to this trend line, you lost it as support, you back tested it as resistance in August, and then you're coming back down. So from now on, this is a very strong resistance level for us to break. You also have the 20 EMA, obviously, and you also have the yellow resistance trend line that as of now is sitting at 3 cents. And you have the weekly 20 EMA. You are very overextended from that. So I would imagine we would see a back test of resistance sometime in the next couple of months if we see a relief rally, because Harmony One really hasn't recovered that much, because this relief rally was basically destroyed by this pullback, right? Because you came back down exactly where you started retracing from. So I would assume that we would see a retest of the 20 EMA and then another pullback, because we haven't seen a retest of the 20 since March of this year. And usually you do come back up to it once there is a huge gap in between the EMAs and in between the price action and the EMA. If we take a look at the MACD, as you can see, we are in a bullish cross. The MACD is turning green. And the last time this happened was back in September to November last year. So this is exactly the potential scenario that we might have on our hands. As you can see, this appreciation in price. Although last year we were in a bull market, so I wouldn't expect the same gains necessarily, but I do think there is potentially a nice little uptrend for us sometime in the next couple of weeks. But like I said, we do have the FOMC meeting, so that's always lurking in the background, and that could destroy everything. The weekly RSI is in the bottom here, so this is a very good buying opportunity in my opinion. Especially if you're looking for the long term for Harmony One. I think this is going to be an incredible purchase here. Even if it dips another 20%, you're still exposed to the market. You still can dollar cost average in after that. But if you continue waiting for half a cent and you're not going to be buying in right now, you're not going to be dollar cost averaging in, well then when the markets reverse, you're not going to be buying in here. You're not going to be buying in here. You're going to be buying back up here because you're going to have no choice. So it's smarter to dollar cost average in during red days and just have a good position built for the bull market. That's at least what I do. That's my strategy. No financial advice is given here on this channel. So thank you all for watching. If I missed out anything important on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join me on Patreon. And I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.